Hey everyone. Welcome to AfriHeart Stories, your go-to spot for African tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Now sit back and enjoy. Marcus Lane strode into their cozy city apartment, his expensive Italian loafers clicking against the polished hardwood floors. Janelle Hayes, balancing a stack of law textbooks on the sofa, looked up from her notes. His eyes, cold and distant, settled on her. "You're not what I need anymore," he said, voice clipped. Before Janelle could respond, he dropped a file on the coffee table, divorce papers neatly printed, Gwen Adams's social media handle scribbled in the margins as his new fiancée. His designer coat hung on the rack by the door. "I deserve someone who can keep up with me," he declared, turning on his heel. Janelle sat frozen, a whirlwind of shock and betrayal. The textbooks slipped to the floor as she tried to find words. "Marcus." He paused, glancing back. "Don't call me. I'm done." Then he was gone. The next morning, Janelle awoke to an empty apartment and unread messages flooding her phone, news notifications about Marcus's engagement. She scrolled through headlines. Rising political star Nathan Lane announces new relationship, with photos of Marcus and Gwen laughing under floral arches. Her chest tightened. Tears stung her eyes, but anger flared hotter. At her part-time job as a late-night clerk, she couldn't focus. Her grandmother's words echoed, "Ordinary women do extraordinary things when pushed." She remembered the battered leather notebook tucked in her desk drawer. That night she retrieved it. The pages held decades of herbal skincare recipes, passed down from her grandmother who had run a small apothecary in rural Nigeria. Janelle had sketched product ideas beside her school notes but never pursued them, too afraid of failure. Now failure was the only path forward. She launched her laptop and searched for herbal skincare brand registration. The blank page of an online form glared back, but her fingers flew. She registered Hayes & Company and drafted a mission statement, to empower all women with nature's best-kept beauty secrets. Her heart pounded as she clicked submit. In a single moment, Janelle swung from victim to visionary. She knew the road ahead would be rocky, mocking investors, late nights formulating, and yet for the first time in years she felt alive. Hooked for viewers, she lost everything, but just like that she found herself. Janelle sat cross-legged on her bed, the pale glow of her desk lamp illuminating the worn leather cover of the notebook. It had been buried for 10 years beneath textbooks, childhood mementos, and abandoned dreams. She unhooked the ribbon and flipped to the first page. Sketches of jars labeled rosemary and shea serum, clove and honey balm, margins filled with measurements and notes. A fragile excitement rose in her chest as she realized that the very thing she had thrown away might save her. She read an entry dated April 12, 2015. Test number 3, marigold extract versus witch hazel infusion, started with 5 milliliters each, reaction at skin shows promise. She smiled faintly. Back then, she had been a law student working nights as a cafe barista, scribbling formulas between serving customers. Her grandmother's voice echoed, "Knowledge is power, but wisdom turns it to gold." Janelle's fingers traced each line like a map leading her to a hidden treasure. Her phone buzzed with messages from friends expressing condolences. Instead of replying, she grabbed her laptop and Googled DIY skincare lab equipment. Results flooded in, mixing bowls, measuring syringes, digital scales. Janelle's heart thundered. She rang her closest friend, Nicole. "I'm going crazy," she blurted. "I found the notebook. I'm going to do it, Nick, actually build something." Nicole's voice crackled with excitement over the speaker. "I knew it. You always had the best ideas. Let's place an order for supplies tomorrow." They spent 60 minutes discussing plans, estimating costs, and brainstorming names. Hayes & Company felt right. It honored her lineage and her grandmother's legacy. Nicole promised to film a reveal on Instagram. Every skeptical text from Marcus 3 years ago, calling her too plain to make a dent, fueled her determination. The next morning, Janelle visited a local herbal shop. She ran her hand over dried lavender, rosemary sprigs, and shea butter tubs. Each aroma sparked a memory, her grandmother teaching her to bless the plants before grinding them. She purchased essentials, organic oils, solid beeswax, and lugged them home like prized relics. Back in her tiny kitchen, Janelle set up an impromptu laboratory, cleaned mason jars, sanitized spoons, paper towels laid out like a sterile field. She measured ingredients precisely, recalling every notation in her notebook. With the first batch complete, she dabbed a drop on her wrist. Warmth spread through her skin, a subtle glow revealing the serum's power. She exhaled, a thrill of triumph rushing through her. Today she wasn't a betrayed ex-wife, she was a pioneer. The secret she unearthed began as a spark. Now it was a flame that would blaze her path to success. Later that afternoon, Janelle posted a snapshot of her notebook and the lab setup on social media. Within an hour, comments poured in. "Where can I buy this? You're a genius." Each notification ping felt like fuel. She realized her secret was no longer hidden, it was her greatest asset. That realization filled her with absolute confidence. She truly believed in her own potential unwaveringly. Janelle slipped into the sleek lobby of Sterling Capital, her palms damp against the leather portfolio she clutched. The midday sun glinted off the marble floor as she rehearsed her pitch one last time. Heritage herbal formulas, scientific rigor, market potential. She adjusted her blazer and stepped toward the elevator. Investors were waiting, 3 firms scheduled back to back. This was her moment. Minutes later, she sat across a glossy mahogany table from Jonathan Price, senior partner at Sterling. His crisp suit and silver cufflinks screamed authority. Janelle cleared her throat. "Hello, Mr. Price. Thank you for seeing me. I'm Janelle Hayes. My company, Hayes & Company, specializes in natural skincare based on generations-old formulas. I believe we can capture a unique niche in the market." Jonathan tapped his pen. "Nice story," he said, voice polite but distant. "But we see hundreds of startups. What makes you stand out?" Janelle opened her portfolio, revealing sample vials. A pale gold serum, a silky balm. She recited her grandmother's recipe lineage. He nodded, smiled thinly. "It's charming. But frankly, we invest in tech. Good luck." He dismissed her with a gentle wave. Janelle's heart sank. Next, she arrived at Phoenix Ventures. The receptionist's bored glance felt like a judge's scorn. In the pitch room, 2 women in designer heels exchanged glances as Janelle began. Midway, one whispered, stifling a laugh. The other sipped her latte. After 5 minutes, they exchanged text messages, eyes flicking to Janelle. "Thank you for presenting," one said finally, placing her cup down. "But skincare is so saturated. We prefer emerging biotech." Janelle smiled professionally while her chest tightened. The final meeting was with Crestpoint Capital, promising but critical. 2 partners sat behind laptops. Janelle offered samples and market analytics. The taller partner sniffed the serum, pursed his lips and declared, "It smells medicinal. Who's your target demographic? Mature women? Teens? It's too vague." When she tried to clarify, he interrupted, "I'm sorry. This isn't for us." He rose, signaling the end. Janelle collected her portfolio, voice trembling. "Thank you for your time." They barely looked up. Standing in the hallway, she sank against the wall. The weight of rejection pressed down. 10 years of dreams, distilled into small vials, had been dismissed before she even tried. Tears blurred her vision. She pressed a hand to her chest, feeling her grandmother's spirit in every heartbeat. Anger flared. This was not the end. She whispered to herself, "They'll regret underestimating me." Pulling out her phone, she called Nicole. "They all said no," she managed. On the line, Nicole's voice was steady. "Then we'll find someone who says yes. You're not just a formula on paper. You're Janelle Hayes. Keep going." Janelle inhaled sharply, letting determination wash over despair. Each no etched a deeper resolve. She closed her eyes and pictured the day her face would be on billboards, the day she'd laugh at those who laughed at her. With renewed focus, Janelle stood upright. Doors may have closed, but she would build her empire. Late at night, Janelle stood in her tiny kitchen, the overhead bulb casting long shadows across worn countertops. The dusty leather-bound recipe book lay open on the counter, its yellowed pages inscribed in her grandmother's precise hand. Each entry described ingredients Janelle barely recognized. Baobab powder for elasticity, morina extract for nourishment, tamarind paste for gentle exfoliation. Beneath each name, measurements and stirring times were carefully noted. She traced her finger along the faded script, imagining her grandmother's gentle voice guiding her. First, she retrieved fresh baobab powder with its earthy scent, then measured 2 spoons into a porcelain bowl. Next came golden morina oil, fragrant with a nutty sweetness, followed by a dollop of silky shea butter. She added tamarind paste, its tangy aroma reminding her of summers in her grandmother's village. Janelle recalled childhood afternoons spent by her grandmother's side, watching her crush leaves with a mortar and pestle, learning to honor each plant's spirit. Once the base was blended, she boiled purified water and poured it over chamomile flowers in a separate jar. As the steam curled up, she covered it with a cloth, letting the infusion steep for 10 minutes. After straining, she combined the liquid with the primary mixture, watching the serum take on a warm amber hue. The air filled with a soothing herbal perfume that calmed her anxieties. Sterilizing small glass jars under boiling water, she poured the final serum carefully into each container. Each jar glowed under the kitchen light as if holding captured sunlight. Janelle labeled them Hayes & Company Grandma's Glow Elixir, in neat script, feeling a swell of pride. She applied a thin layer to her forearm. It tingled gently, warmth spreading within seconds. Under a lamp, she examined the area. Fine lines softened, skin luminous, pores less noticeable. She compared both arms and noted the subtle yet undeniable difference. That night, she filmed a short clip for social media. Up-close shots of the jar, her finger dipping into the serum, application to skin and time-lapse of results. Softly into the camera she said, "My grandmother's recipe has changed lives for generations. Now it's my turn to share it with you. Watch my skin transform in 7 days." She posted the video and went to bed, heart racing. Within minutes, her phone buzzed with notifications. Comments flooded in. "This looks incredible. I need details. When can I buy?" Janelle smiled, feeling her grandmother's guiding hand in every like and share. For the first time, she believed that Grandma's wisdom would become her greatest asset. She leaned back against the counter, her eyes closed. Gratitude filled her, knowing she was honoring her heritage and forging destiny. Janelle awoke before dawn, heart pounding with anticipation. She headed to her living room where her phone glowed on the coffee table. Overnight, the video she posted had skyrocketed. Likes, shares, and hundreds of direct messages flooding her inbox. One stood out. An influencer with 2 million followers had sent a DM. "I'm in. Send me samples. I want to feature this serum on my channel." Her fingers trembled as she tapped a reply. "Thank you. Please send your address and I'll ship first samples by tomorrow." Over breakfast, Janelle packed carefully designed white boxes with 2 vials of serum, printed labels reading Hayes & Company, Grandma's Glow Elixir. She wrapped each box in tissue stamped with her logo, tucked in a handwritten note. "Made with love and tradition. Can't wait to see your feedback. Jay." She sealed them with gold stickers and arranged for same-day courier pickup. Outside, the courier van arrived and she watched each box lift away, her chest swelling with a mix of pride and nerves. By midday, she updated her website's landing page, adding a pre-order link and displaying sample testimonials. Each submission pinged through to her email. During her part-time shift, she excused herself repeatedly to check orders on her phone, heart racing with each notification. She spent her lunch break sketching her first limited edition packaging mock-up, designing foil accents and embossed lettering. Back home that afternoon, she tallied preliminary orders, 2,000. A small voice inside whispered doubt. Could she fulfill so many? She silenced it with determination. She called Nicole. "Nick, we have 2,000 orders already. I'm scared." Nicole's voice crackled with excitement. "Be proud. This is just the beginning. We'll scale production." Janelle exhaled, confidence replacing fear. Later, the influencer posted her unboxing. The screen glowed. She twirled the vial, sniffed its aroma, and applied a drop to her wrist. "I've never seen my skin look this firm and bright," she declared, camera zooming to her glow. Comments exploded. "I need this. Where do I order?" Janelle rewatched the clip, tears in her eyes. Her dreams were no longer distant. By dawn, her order count soared to 20,000. 20,000 people waiting for her serum. She sat at her kitchen table staring at the screen, breathless. The gravity of her success settled in her chest. She typed a thank you tweet. "Thank you to everyone supporting Hayes & Company. Let's glow together," and posted it. Within hours, lifestyle magazines reached out requesting interviews to feature the woman behind the serum. Janelle drafted replies, grateful for the chance. At a charity event, Marcus caught wind of her success, his face paling as he scrolled through reviews. Marcus Lane adjusted his bow tie under the bright lights of a charity gala. The ornate ballroom buzzed. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, guests in designer gowns and suits. He settled into his seat as the evening's multimedia presentation began. Images of smiling children, donated laptops, and grant ceremonies flashed across the screen. Midway through, the house lights dimmed. A hush fell. On the giant projection screen appeared a sleek white set. A glowing woman held a shimmering gold jar above her head. The voiceover resonated through the surround sound. From humble beginnings to global innovation, introducing Hayes & Company as Grandma's Glow Elixir. The camera zoomed to her face, radiant, confident, and unmistakably familiar. Gasps rippled through the audience. "Is that Janelle Hayes?" someone whispered behind Marcus. He glanced over his shoulder, denial twisting his stomach. How could his ex-wife be starring in a primetime commercial? The screen shifted to before and after shots of skin transformations, and the tagline scrolled, "When you honor tradition, beauty follows." Applause erupted as the ad ended and the gala video resumed its charity highlights. Marcus paled, his fingertips growing icy. His mind raced back to their apartment, her quiet determination, her nights in that tiny kitchen. He'd called her ordinary, too plain. Now the same world that praised him was applauding her brilliance. He felt a sting of regret burn inside him. He slipped from his seat and navigated toward the back exit, weaving past tables where guests offered curious glances. In the hallway he ran into an acquaintance, Senator Douglas. "Marcus, did you see that commercial?" Douglas asked, eyes wide. "Cancer Foundation just posted it, it's everywhere." Marcus forced a smile. "I saw it," he replied, voice hollow. "Impressive work." Douglas patted his shoulder. "She really made something special." Marcus nodded, stomach twisting. He paged through his phone's notifications, articles with headlines like "Ex-Wife Serum Tops Beauty Charts," and "From Divorce to Dominating, Janelle Hayes' Rise." His campaign strategy suddenly seemed trivial. He realized dismissing her had been his biggest error. A knot formed in his gut. He realized he would never hear her voice, witness her success. Meanwhile, Janelle watched live stream coverage from her apartment. She balanced her laptop on her lap as she sipped chamomile tea. When the commercial appeared, she smiled, her heart swelling with both vindication and humility. Comments scrolled, "She's everywhere. PR stunt or real talent. Either way, I want some." Janelle typed a thank you tweet, "Grateful to be part of this cause. All proceeds go to women entrepreneurs." The next morning, pre-order numbers surged by 50,000. Investors who once laughed were now calling her, eager to join the success story. But Janelle remained focused inward. She drafted a press release announcing a scholarship fund in her grandmother's name and launched plans for expanded production. For Janelle, success meant more than numbers, it meant purpose, and she intended to make every drop of serum count. Janelle stepped into the sleek glass-walled office of Crestview Capital, the morning sun glinting off the polished skyscrapers beyond. 3 of the city's wealthiest investors, 2 men in bespoke suits and 1 woman whose diamond studs caught every light, waited behind a long mahogany table. Their calm confidence contrasted with the rapid beating of Janelle's heart. Jonathan Price, the senior partner she had faced once before, leaned forward. "Miss Hayes, I'll admit, when I saw you last, I didn't think Hayes & Company had mass-market potential. But your traction has been impossible to ignore." He tapped a tablet displaying her viral metrics. 20,000 pre-orders, millions of social media engagements. "We want in." The woman beside him, Olivia Chin, smiled. "I represent several high-net-worth individuals looking to diversify into beauty. We love the authenticity of your brand. What are your terms?" Janelle's palms sweated. This was the culmination of every late night she'd poured over recipes, every ounce of doubt she'd quelled. She swallowed and began, her voice steady, "My terms are simple. I retain controlling equity, 60% of Hayes & Company remains with me. I'll accept a $5 million investment for 20% ownership to scale production globally. The rest funds marketing, research, and a community scholarship in my grandmother's name." Price exchanged glances with Chen and the third investor, Rafael Morales, who stroked his beard thoughtfully. "A bold ask," Morales said slowly. "It's rare we see such forceful terms from a founder." He tapped his pen. "But your brand's integrity and your story are undeniable. We agree on those terms." Relief washed over Janelle. She nodded, barely trusting her voice. "Thank you. Together we'll redefine the skincare market, honoring tradition and empowering women globally." As they shook hands, Janelle felt a surge of triumph. The world that once laughed at her secret formulas now eagerly sought a seat at her table, and she held all the power. Power flip moment. Those who once sneered now kneel. A single microphone stood on the small stage of the Empower Her Studios, spotlit against a backdrop of soft pink curtains. Janelle sat across from host Dana Brooks, whose weekly show boasted over 5 million subscribers. The audience watched via live stream, anticipation crackling in the digital air. Dana welcomed Janelle with warmth. "Today we have Janelle Hayes, the ordinary woman turned beauty mogul overnight. You single-handedly built a billion-dollar brand. Tell us, what fueled your journey?" Janelle smiled, recalling her grandmother's kitchen. My grandmother believed in the power of nature and the wisdom passed down through generations. I turned her handwritten recipes into formulas that deliver real results, and I refuse to let anyone define my worth. Dana nodded. Your story resonates. But you faced rejection, mocked by investors, by your own ex-husband. How did you keep going? Janelle leaned forward. Every no was fuel. When investors laughed, I remembered my purpose, to empower women who felt small. When Marcus called me ordinary, I realized that ordinary people can create extraordinary change. The chat exploded with comments. Facts speak louder. She's iconic. Dana pressed on. Your podcast appearance itself is a marketing masterstroke. Did you plan for this level of virality? Janelle chuckled. Not exactly. But I believe authenticity builds trust. Audiences can tell when a story is genuine. They discussed her scholarship program, the upcoming product line expansion, and her role as a UN Women's Ambassador. Clips from the episode went viral instantly. Soundbites of her grandmother's wisdom, Dana's glowing endorsements, Janelle's signature laugh. By the time Janelle left the studio, media outlets were running headlines: Podcast Queen, How Janelle Hayes Redefined Beauty, and From Divorce Papers to Tech Investors, The Janelle Hayes Phenomenon. Her social media following surged by 500,000 in an hour. Back in his campaign headquarters, Marcus Lane stared at the glowing screen of his laptop. A news alert: political scandal. Marcus Lane accused of abandoning wife for clout. He clicked through links, bloggers ripping him apart, archived divorce documents made public, screenshots of his disparaging text to Janelle. Advisor Elaine Marshall rushed in. Marcus, the press is relentless. They found your old tweets calling Janelle boring and irrelevant. We're hemorrhaging support. He rubbed his temples. How did this happen? I thought my team scrubbed everything. Elaine's voice trembled. They exposed the original filings. You never settled the non-disclosure. It's in the public record. And social media is amplifying her success story as a direct rebuke. He sank into his chair. The rally planned for tomorrow had fewer RSVPs than his divorce announcement party. Fundraising emails bounced. Major donors pulled back. His confidence collapsed under the weight of public outrage. In the war room, volunteers shut down campaign hashtags. His speechwriter drafted an apology, but Marcus refused. I won't grovel. Elaine sighed. Then we lose everything. As night fell, Marcus wandered the city streets alone. Neon signs flickered. His campaign posters, once symbols of promise, now seemed mocking. He realized dismissing Janelle had been the catalyst for his downfall, and there was no way to rewrite that chapter. Under the bright opening lights of Hayes & Company's flagship Detroit store, Janelle cut a crimson ribbon. Models paraded new product lines as cameras flashed. The crowd cheered. From the entrance, Marcus watched, hat in hand. His tailored suit hung awkwardly on his frame. As Janelle posed for photos, he cleared his throat. Janelle, he called softly. She paused, scanning the crowd until her eyes met his. Shock rippled across her face. He approached, voice low. Congratulations. I was wrong. You were never ordinary. Janelle studied him, calm as a poised queen. Thank you for acknowledging that. Your words took years to prove wrong. He winced. I'm sorry, for everything. Can we talk? She shook her head gently. We have different paths now. I wish you well. Turning away, Janelle rejoined her team. Marcus remained by the door, watching her, powerful, radiant, and unreachable. News spread that Gwen Adams, Marcus's social media savvy partner, had leaked private texts to tabloids. Screenshots revealed Marcus mocking Janelle's dreams and calling her a homely nobody. In a viral livestream, Gwen confessed tearfully, I thought I was protecting him. I didn't know how much harm we caused. But the public reaction was brutal. Hate comments flooded Gwen's feed. Sponsors dropped her. Marcus's approval ratings hit rock bottom. Meanwhile, Janelle released a statement. I forgive those who underestimated me. My focus remains on empowering women everywhere. Her grace under fire only heightened admiration. The United Nations Women's Summit Hall was vast. Flags from every nation draped the walls, delegates in formal wear murmured in varied languages, and cameras dotted the balconies like metallic owls. Janelle Hayes stepped onto the stage, heart pounding beneath her tailored ivory suit. She scanned the audience. Ministers, philanthropists, activists, and investors. This was her moment. Behind the lectern, she placed the gold-bound speech booklet, its cover engraved with her grandmother's initials. A hush fell as she raised her gaze. 30 years ago, my grandmother in rural Nigeria taught me that beauty begins with wisdom and purpose. She began, voice clear and resonant. She told her story, a law student scorned, a wife dismissed, recipes treasured. She recounted the serendipitous spark that ignited Hayes and Company, and how each step, however small, led to this global platform. Delegates listened rapt. When she unveiled her initiative, the Heritage Empowerment Fund, to support women entrepreneurs in underrepresented regions, ribbons of applause rippled through the hall. Embassies pledged seed donations, multinationals offered partnerships, and an impromptu round of cheers erupted when she invited attendees to join her grandmother's legacy. After the speech, Janelle exited to thunderous applause. In the green room she was embraced by dignitaries, some in traditional African attire, others in Western suits, each offering congratulations. The summit host, Ambassador Lin, clasped her hands. Your words moved us. This fund will change thousands of lives. Janelle's eyes shimmered. This was more than a brand, it was a movement. That evening, global headlines proclaimed, Herbalist turned mogul addresses UN, a new era for women in business. Video highlights trended across platforms, and #HayesAtUN surged worldwide. Sponsors who once balked at investing in a small startup now vied for alliances. Meanwhile, Marcus Lane watched the summit footage in disbelief. His campaign headquarters was silent. Agents and advisors had gone home, defeated. In her hotel suite, Janelle sat by the balcony overlooking New York City lights. She called Nicole. Can you believe this? Nicole's voice crackled with pride. You made history. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Janelle traced the UN flag's emblem. I'm grateful. But I remember why I started. As the city glimmered below, she envisioned the next phase, launching labs in Nairobi, Sao Paulo, and Jakarta. Hayes and Company was no longer confined by borders. It was a global force for good. On a crisp Monday morning, Janelle's inbox buzzed incessantly. Sales dashboards glowed with green. $1 million in revenue, all within 24 hours. Hayes and Company's website struggled under the traffic, crowdfunding its cloud servers to keep up. She stood in her Detroit office, floors below the flagship store, while her daughter, 6-year-old Lily, perched on a swivel chair beside her. Lily giggled as colorful orders streamed in. Thousands of bottles of Grandma's Glow Elixir, hundreds of jars of the new Night Renewal Balm. Nicole burst in waving her phone. You did it. 1 million in one day. She jumped, high-fiving Janelle. Nearby, the operations team cheered, popping sparkling cider. Janelle knelt to Lily's level. Mommy's company just had its first $1 million day. Lily's eyes widened. Does that mean we're rich? She asked. Janelle smiled, ruffling her hair. It means we're doing something right, and helping lots of people. She turned to her team. Thank you all. This milestone is yours as much as mine. She sent an impromptu thank you video to social media, expressing gratitude to customers and pledging a portion of profits to women's education grants. The video trended instantly, reinforcing brand loyalty. Meanwhile, news anchors announced the financial feat. Beauty blogs published analyses, how Hayes and Company cracked the market, the numbers behind the glow. Investors celebrated in conference rooms, toasting to the brand's unstoppable momentum. That afternoon, Janelle met with Rafael Morales and Olivia Chen at their offices. Over black espresso, they reviewed next steps, expanding manufacturing capacity, securing international distribution, and launching a limited edition holiday collection. Janelle's keen business acumen shone as she negotiated supply terms and marketing budgets. Back at home, she tucked Lily into bed and whispered stories of Grandma's life in Nigeria, of perseverance, of harmony with nature, and of legacy built on love. Lily drifted to sleep, clutching her mother's hand. Janelle closed the door, pausing in the hallway. She reflected on her journey, from a single mother facing divorce papers to leading a company that changed hearts and livelihoods. She inhaled deeply, savoring the moment before diving into the next challenge. The sleek doorman welcomed Janelle to the penthouse Marcus had once demanded she vacate. Sunlight spilled through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating marble floors and designer furnishings. Each piece bore his taste she had once been told she lacked. Now the condo was under her name. She stepped inside, heels clicking confidently. Her real estate attorney, Sarah, handed over the keys. Welcome home, Sarah said with a grin. Janelle paused in the grand foyer, absorbing the weight of ownership. She envisioned a new purpose, converting the luxury condo into a state-of-the-art R&D lab for Hayes and Company. She planned custom workstations, botanical gardens and glass terrariums, and classrooms for apprentices learning herbal extraction techniques. As contractors toured the space, Janelle led them through each room with precision. Here we'll install extraction machines. Over here, compact drying racks. This balcony will host our rooftop herb garden. The contractors nodded, impressed by her vision and attention to detail. Later, she stood on the balcony overlooking the skyline. The city sparkled, a reminder that she was no longer defined by anyone else's standards. The condo, once a symbol of her erasure, had become a beacon of innovation. That evening, Janelle hosted the first team meeting in the new lab. Engineers, botanists, and designers filled the space, eyes alight with excitement. She addressed them. "This place is more than a lab, it's a tribute to my grandmother's wisdom and our shared goal, to create products that empower and uplift." They applauded, the sound echoing off glass walls. As staff toured the rooftop garden, Janelle escorted Lily by the hand. Her daughter's eyes widened at rows of lavender, mint, and marigold. "Can I help pick the flowers?" Lily asked. Janelle smiled. "Of course, sweetheart. We'll do it together." Together, they snipped fresh herbs under the golden sunset, mother and daughter forging memories in a space once defined by loss but now by boundless possibility. On a bustling weekday morning, the Hayes & Company media crew buzzed through the Detroit lab, cameras rolling. The set was an open-concept workspace, gleaming countertops, botanical shelves, jars of colorful serums, and smiling employees at workstations. A production assistant called, "Janelle, you're live in 3-2. She stepped in front of the main camera. Framing the shot, she introduced herself. "Hi, I'm Janelle Hayes, founder of Hayes & Company. Today I'll take you behind the scenes to show how we craft each product with care and tradition." As she guided viewers through the production line, she introduced key team members. Research chemist Dr. Amina Okoye, explaining the science behind microencapsulation. Supply chain manager Elijah Ford, detailing sustainable sourcing of shea butter. And quality assurance lead Maria Santos, demonstrating rigorous testing protocols. Viewers learned about ethical partnerships with smallholder farms in West Africa, where Janelle's scholarships supported education and infrastructure. Heartfelt stories appeared. Asia, a young graduate in Dakar, credited Hayes & Company scholarships for her new business. Nana, a Ghanaian farmer whose livelihood improved through fair trade contracts. Janelle paused by a workstation where interns, mostly single mothers, packed orders. She asked them why they joined Hayes & Company. Each spoke of empowerment, learning skills, supporting families, and newfound confidence. Camera crews captured laughter, meticulous pouring of serums, and team members sharing personal anecdotes. Janelle's voiceover emphasized company values: integrity, community, and innovation. After the shoot, Janelle reviewed footage in her office. The documentary-style video would be featured on her website and social channels. She smiled, proud of the collective effort that made Hayes & Company more than just a beauty brand. It was a movement grounded in empathy and authenticity. Later that week, social media reactions poured in. "I love seeing real people behind the products. This is the kind of brand I want to support." The hashtag behind Hayes & Co. trended, driving record web traffic and inquiries. Janelle closed her laptop, reflecting on the journey from secret kitchen experiments to a global enterprise built on trust. She whispered to the empty office, "Thank you, Grandma, for teaching me to see power in purpose." A crisp autumn breeze swept through the open terrace of Hamilton Magazine's rooftop event as Janelle stood before a polished oak podium. The skyline of Chicago glowed behind her, skyscrapers illuminated in amber light. The master of ceremonies, Victor Hammond, cleared his throat. "Tonight, we honor trailblazers, visionaries who defy expectations. Our Businessperson of the Year nominee, Janelle Hayes." Applause rippled across the seated audience of executives, philanthropists, and media luminaries. Janelle inhaled deeply, recalling the nights she'd spent measuring batches of serum by dim kitchen light. Her heart thrummed. She adjusted the microphone and addressed the crowd. "Thank you, Hamilton Magazine, for this honor. When I started Hayes & Company, I was a simple woman with a secret notebook of recipes. I never imagined standing here," she began, voice warm. She spoke of her grandmother's legacy, the trials of rejection, and the power of resilience. She emphasized community. "This nomination belongs to the farmers who cultivate our ingredients, to my team who work tirelessly, and to every woman who dared to believe she deserves more." The audience rose in ovation. Seated at the judges' table was Victoria Chin, renowned CEO of a Fortune 500 beauty conglomerate who had once dismissed Janelle's pitches. Chin watched intently. When Janelle concluded, Chin rose as well, clapping with genuine enthusiasm. Networking throngs formed instantly. Attendees approached Janelle to offer congratulatory handshakes and partnership inquiries. Radio hosts and podcasters clustered nearby with microphones. "Janelle, what does this nomination mean for Hayes & Company?" asked one. She smiled. "It underscores our commitment to purpose, profit with a mission." Backstage, her daughter Lily tugged at her gown hem. "Mom, I'm proud of you," she whispered. Janelle knelt, hugging her tightly. "You're my greatest achievement." The moment crystallized her journey, from legal studies to laboratory breakthroughs to global recognition. Reporters snapped photos as she exited to join other nominees. Amid flashes, she spotted Marcus Lane lingering at the edge of the crowd, an expression of regret etched on his face. She offered a polite nod and continued on, her mind focused on the future. Later that week, Hamilton's cover revealed a striking portrait of Janelle beneath the headline, "She built an empire from Grandma's notebook." Social media exploded. The nomination opened doors for speaking engagements at universities, board invitations, and an offer to headline a televised business summit. As she reviewed the accolades in her home office, Janelle reflected on how far she had come, no longer invisible but celebrated. She whispered, "This is just the beginning." The morning sun cast long shadows across Chicago's financial district as Marcus Lane strode along Michigan Avenue, phone pressed to his ear. His legal advisor, Conrad Miles, spoke gravely. "Marcus, you've received 5 cease and desist letters from Hayes & Company's counsel regarding your unauthorized use of their marketing footage. They demand you remove all clips from your campaign ads immediately." Marcus ran a hand through his hair. His political ad featured a montage of community outreach scenes. One briefly showed Janelle's foundation work. He had thought it flattering. Now it was ammunition. Conrad continued, "If you refuse, they'll seek damages well beyond your campaign budget. You might face personal liability." Marcus halted, disoriented. His campaign war chest had drained from scandal management and apology tours. Fundraisers were canceling, donors hesitant to associate with controversy. Conrad's voice softened. "I'm sorry, Marcus. Your options are limited. You can either comply or risk bankruptcy." Desperation clawed at him. He pictured the glossy debates, the promising rallies, now overshadowed by every news cycle highlighting Janelle's ascendancy. He dialed Conrad back. "Settle with them. We'll remove any mention and issue a statement." Conrad confirmed and offered condolences. As Marcus ended the call, he realized the irony. Even his legal recourse was overshadowed by the woman he had underestimated. By midday, in a terse press release, Marcus's team announced compliance. All campaign materials featuring Hayes & Company were withdrawn. The statement cited respect for intellectual property. Yet media outlets framed it as yet another defeat. Headlines read, "Former spouse cowers to billion-dollar brand," and late-night hosts joked about Marcus's plight. His campaign office became eerily quiet. Staffers redistributed portfolios as if abandoning ship. That evening, Marcus sat alone in his apartment, the same one he had left with divorce papers. Its walls, once adorned with campaign posters, now mirrored his isolation. He scrolled through social feeds praising Janelle's grace under pressure. Self-pity gave way to remorse. He whispered into the silence, "I thought I was winning." But the victory belonged to Janelle, whose empire thrived even in his absence. And he couldn't even afford to sue her. Amid the hum of production machines in Hayes & Company's Detroit lab, Elijah Ford paused, wiping sweat from his brow. He watched Janelle move between stations, offering guidance to technicians, reviewing quality reports, and laughing with interns. He had admired her from day one, when she had hired him as logistics manager. Late nights he had stayed behind, reorganizing supply chains, just to catch a glimpse of her gentle determination. Today his admiration swelled into courage. During a break, he approached her at the rooftop herb garden where Lily was plucking lavender sprigs with Nicole. Elijah cleared his throat. Janelle looked up, surprised. "Elijah? What's?" He took a deep breath, heart pounding. "I've wanted to tell you this for months. I admire your vision, your strength, and your kindness." He gestured toward Lily, smiling. "You're incredible." Janelle's brow furrowed in concern. "Elijah, He set a small bouquet of fresh marigolds in her hand. "I know you've been through a lot. I want to be here for you not because of your success, but because of who you are." He met her gaze, vulnerability in his eyes. Silence hung. Lily, sensing tension, nestled against Janelle's side. Janelle inhaled the marigold's warm scent and looked at Elijah. His sincerity radiated. Smiling softly, she placed the flowers in a vase. "Thank you, Elijah. Your support means more than you know." He exhaled, relief flooding his expression. "I'll always be here, Janelle. Whatever you need." She nodded, warmth blooming in her chest. As the sun set over the city, they walked side by side back to the lab entrance. Partners in business and now in something more profound. The seeds of true love had taken root. The Hayes and Company Holiday Gala sparkled beneath cascading fairy lights in the company's flagship Detroit atrium. Tables draped in ivory linen held golden centerpieces, and black-tie guests mingled around a raised stage. Janelle stood backstage with Nicole and Lily, who held a small microphone. Lily's face glowed with excitement. "Mom, I want to say something," Lily whispered. Janelle knelt, smoothing Lily's dress. "You're ready, sweetheart." On stage, Victor Hammond announced, "We have a surprise speaker, the youngest leader in our community, Lily Hayes." Lily stepped forward, voice clear. "Hello everyone. I'm Lily Hayes. My mom taught me that losing someone doesn't mean losing yourself. She showed me that we can turn pain into power." She looked at Janelle, smiling. "I love you, Mom, and I'm proud of you." The audience erupted in applause and tears. Janelle joined her daughter, hugging her tight. Cameras flashed, capturing the tender embrace. Victor handed Lily a bouquet. Lily beamed while Janelle's eyes glistened. Backstage, guests approached to congratulate Lily and Janelle. A journalist asked Lily what she thought of her mom's journey. Lily replied, "She's my hero." As the party continued, Janelle whispered to Lily, "That was perfect." Lily grinned, clutching her mother's hand. In the dawn hush of her home office, Janelle reviewed the final draft of Hayes and Company's new charter. It outlined a mentorship program for women entrepreneurs, a partnership with agricultural cooperatives, and a scholarship fund, Grandma's Legacy Initiative. She placed her grandmother's portrait on the desk, a silent blessing in frame. Behind her, Lily slept peacefully in her room. Janelle reflected on every step: heartbreak, discovery, rejection, triumph. Her brand had become a force for change, not just a source of profit. She signed the charter, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of possibility. Later, at a nonprofit ceremony, Janelle announced the initiative, a year-long program pairing women founders with mentors, seed grants, and training workshops. She spoke passionately, "Legacy isn't measured in likes or sales, it's in the lives we uplift." Funding poured in from global partners. That evening, Janelle and Elijah walked hand in hand through the rooftop herb garden, the city lights shimmering below. Lily joined them, holding a sprig of lavender. They paused, breathing in the fragrant air. Janelle closed her eyes, content. She had chosen legacy over fleeting fame, and her empire would reflect that choice forever. Liked it? Thumbs up, subscribe, and join the AfriHeart fam. Your support fuels our stories. Until next time.